Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I talk about very important information to living a very good life and to having really ultimately mental health and mental flourishing. The topic of this video is self-control or self-regulation. I'm referencing Baumeister's work, Willpower, and I have gone through this book for years now. I've underlined and highlighted so many different portions, but there's one section that always really profoundly influenced me and always made the difference by really hammering home the main point that I think we all can really easily understand. It's very digestible, it's very useful. You know, part of my goal in pursuing psychiatry is how do I make these fundamental truths very accessible to the average person, to your average Joe, for instance, because we can have all this intellectual jargon, you know, with our white coat and our education, and we're saying you should do this, that, but really we want people to take responsibility, to change their lives, to turn away from the old and embrace the new, which is tough. This is tough stuff, but you know, when we look at the scientific literature and we understand what self-regulation and self-control is, what its limits are, we can really start to make major progress. So I'm going to read a quick section here, and I really want to hear from you. Comment below if you have anything you want to share. Okay, here he is. Humans know better thanks to the large brain that developed in our Homo ancestors 2 million years ago. Much of our self-control operates unconsciously. At a business lunch, you don't have to consciously restrain yourself from eating meat off your boss's plate. Your unconscious brain continuously helps you avoid social disaster, and it operates in so many subtle ways that some psychologists have come to view it as the real boss. This infatuation with unconscious processes stems from a fundamental mistake made by researchers who keep slicing behavior into thinner and briefer units, identifying reactions that occur too quickly for the conscious to be directing. If you look at the cause of some movement in a time frame measured in milliseconds, the immediate cause will be the firing of some nervous cells that connect the brain to the muscles. There is no consciousness in that process. Nobody is aware of nerve cells firing, but the will is to be found in connecting units across time. And this is the section I highlighted. Will involves treating the current situation as part of a general pattern. Smoking one cigarette will not jeopardize your health. Taking heroin once will not make you addicted. One piece of cake will not make you fat. And skipping one assignment will not ruin your career. But in order to stay healthy and employed, you must treat almost every episode as a reflection of the general need to resist these temptations. That is where conscious self-control comes in. And that's why it makes the difference between success and failure in just about every aspect of human life. So it's really about rules. Setting rules and believing in those rules so that you can follow those rules most of the time. And I think this is very important for those of us who are more creative, sort of inherited a lower conscientious way of looking at the world, because what we can do is we can really grow to respect the need for discipline, schedules, and rules in our lives if we actually befriend this notion of the generalized pattern. The generalized pattern is what stabilizes us, stabilizes the society, stabilizes the institution, stabilizes our mental health. We have to treat every instance as if it really matters. There's a generalized rule. Does that mean that every once in a while we can sort of blur that boundary, that we can kind of shift our perspective? Absolutely. But if all of the time or most of the time you are changing your perspective, you are changing your, for instance, sense of self, your values, your relationships, your beliefs, you are going to be living a life on a rocky foundation. And as a rule, what we need, as a rule, isn't that interesting? We need to have assumptions about the world that are stable across time. So I think the main way we can do this is we can create disciplines that are in line with our values. Disciplines that are in line with our values, rules that we are willing to follow daily that support really our values and our identity. Tell me what you think. If you find this interesting, let me know. And I'll see you all in a new video soon. Bye-bye.